Right, welcome back to the Two Yachts for a Saint podcast, powered by Acorn Joinery Leeds. Myself, Gaz, Carl, and Jordan here. Congratulations are in order to Hull Kingston Rovers, who secured the treble at the weekend. So congratulations to them, and I'm sure Carl's got plenty to say about this.
Oh yes, I'm gonna let Jordan have his little parade face because I know
He's more excited
Jordan's
than you are.
second team. Yeah. So I'll let Jordan have his little say so, and then I'll spread the joyous. You can probably tell by I'm like a smiling Cheshire cat today all day. So yeah, what did you make of that, Jordan?
Do you know what? It was. I felt like the when Leeds won it for the first time. Well, won grand final 2004. Sorry, I felt like that. Like I was absolutely beaming. And do you know it's so good though. Like just to beat Wigan, like that's one of the things why I enjoyed it so much. Just to see Wigan get beat, it was just
Haven't we all
amazing.
beat Wigan in the grand final now?
Uh,
Did Leeds do it?
Leeds did it, yeah. Leeds won
Yeah.
because Walter's got a try last couple of minutes. Yeah, I think they won by 2 points.
All right.
Um, yeah, it was good, mate. It was a good game. It was a good game. Um, it was, yeah. To be fair, I'm lost for words. I'm just lost for words. Like I've actually been celebrating, just like you have, Carl. Like, obviously not probably taking my shirt off and running around the house, but like,
Don't lie. Don't lie. Yes, you did. He's been and got a
no,
tattoo of a robin.
it's just I know it sounds cliche. I know it really does, but it was like Leeds when Leeds won it. Like all the emotions came back. You know, the parade that you went to, the feeling of that. I mean, this is thing, Carl, as well. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Gaz, because obviously you probably know. Is this not the first time that someone's won? Not the first grand final they've ever had, but the treble on the same time.
It's the second grand
No,
final they've had, wasn't it? 'Cause they won last year.
yeah, I don't think nobody's won the treble either, have they? So that'll be
No,
the
but I mean,
obviously.
like, this was KR's first Super League title, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we won the treble on the first crack.
Yeah, on the first crack.
I think did Bradford do it
With
in
Bradford,
terms of Super League? Yeah, Bradford might have done it.
because this is thing like when obviously I'm looking at what how they did with obviously winning grand final. I'm like looking and they're going, oh, we're going for treble, and I'm thinking, going, this is their first Super League title here. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I haven't remembered anyone getting. I've heard obviously like Lee got Challenge Cup or that a few years back or whatever, and I'm like, it's their treble. They've got treble here. I'm pretty sure that no one's ever won a treble on the first time they won Super League. So for me, that just was extra special. Yeah, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I thought the game was class, mate. I thought the game was class. I thought you were very, very lucky in those first 15 minutes because this is a thing, guys. This is a thing, Carl, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you rewind 11, 12 months ago when you were in first grand final with Wigan, you you missed you missed your opportunities, didn't you? Like you would in a grand final. And I feel like you did that in this time round. And there were two tries. The Bevan French and the pass that Liam Marshall didn't catch. If them two tries would have happened, I think that game was completely different. And I think because it was like I don't know whether it was fate or what, but because they weren't tries, it give you that like breather when it was like right, crap, we should be 12-0 down here. And then obviously that yellow card come about, and it was just you scored two tries from that yellow card, and it was just like you should have been 12-0 down, and you ended up going 10-0 up, and it was just like complete change. It was just we I think we could all agree that Simbin changed that whole momentum of the game. Obviously it would have Simbin anyway. It would 100%. There were no doubt about that. But you
I think in
capitalise
a
on it, Carl.
regular season game that'd be a red.
Yeah, I probably do. This is thing, Carl. When we were on about it before, about when we were saying about how good OKR and blah blah blah. Like you capitalised on it, and you could have easily not done it. We've been in grand final. It could have still been 0-0. They could have got what is it, O'Neill back on pitch, and it could have been dogfight again. But you took your advantage of it of that man overlap, and you scored two beautiful tries from it from Lewis and Burgess. I just thought they were class. And that were it then. You got the groundwork in then. You were 10-0 up. and it was like what 10 to half time. Yeah, it was just. I'm talking too much here, mate. It's not my team. Go on,
I
Carl.
was
You
going to
you
say, Carl, you didn't hand pulling him out your backside.
go on, Carl. You know
No,
what
no,
I'm
I
saying?
was
You know what I'm saying?
like when you're watching game and that sometimes you get lost in the moment, don't you? But I was watching that first 20 minutes, sort of first 20 minutes. I was watching it very closely, and I was watching what was going off the ball and on the ball, and like Rover just looked so confident in D. The land speed was good. They was all connected. They was all together. So when they did make them two or three errors, I think there was a couple of knock-ons early doors, weren't they? When
Yeah,
they did make them errors, I wasn't so disheartened by that because Rovers this season have proved that they can make errors, but they can
yeah.
also defend the line multiple times. And I think 12 months ago, if they'd have made them errors, they'd have got punished because the defence wouldn't have held out. And like Gaz was
Oh,
saying a couple of weeks back, defence still win your titles and
yeah, yeah,
championships,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
they? And off
There
and
you
off the
go.
back of that, they capitalise on
Yeah.
that yellow.
Like, I'll have to disagree with you there. I when obviously they nearly went to 12-0 up or 10-0 up, whichever, when Bevan French and obviously Farrell, when you were making them errors, for me, you were making, I mean, even Sam Tompkins said it, you were making so many errors so close to like, I think they were like 6, 7 minutes on board and you were knocking on and making errors. And it was like, in a grand final, you can't be doing that against Wigan. And like say, it only takes a try from Wigan. And obviously, we've raved about Wigan and we know how good Wigan are. And as much as good as OK are on that big stage, Wigan thrive on that big stage, don't they? And it could have easily taken away if they'd have scored them two tries and it'd been 12-0 up. It could have easily gone away that game. Go on, mate.
I agree what you're saying, mate. But ultimately, it didn't happen, did it?
No,
You
no,
know, Rovers was fairly tight up to that point in
yeah,
terms of goal line D, and you
yeah,
know we can all say this should have happened or that should have happened, but ultimately they kept him out. You know, they kept him out as they needed to, and then as soon
yeah,
as that yellow card come about, they capitalised on that. Totally agree with what you've just said, Gaz. That's a regular game. We're not much, up for grabs in terms of the grand final. I think that's a red card all day long.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I mean, I've said it myself. The sin bin was a turning point, but to actually pinpoint where that game changed was that tackle from Mikey Lewis on Bevan French over the line, which caused the knock on.
yeah,
That is where
yeah,
Lewis got ahead of him, and he stayed
yeah,
there for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
The
and
little shit.
that's one of them. That's one of them things, though. Mike, people, love Mikey for his flamboyance and his off the cuff rugby, and he's a bit of a wind up merchant and a bit of a shithouse, so to speak. But them little 10%ers go unnoticed because of the type of player he is. So
yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm
his
glad you
defense
picked
was
up at
spot
that.
on all the way through. His defending was
Yeah,
absolutely spot
so
on.
that's what I'm saying. That he's another player individually that's probably improved a lot since 12 months ago, and I think that's showing them little 10%ers like we've
You know
just
what?
discussed. So
Do you know what as well, Carl? Right, and I'll be honest, because Rhinos did it, Saints have done it. It's for me. Do you know when like people have like slated Michael Lewis and they've been like,
mm,
he's a great player, blah blah blah, but on big stage his ass falls out. He can't do. He can't do. These are the times, right, when you've got your Jez Litton, you've got your Mikey Lewis. It's almost like they need a title behind them. So now they've got like that weights lifted off him a little bit. Like we all know, like if Ulcar wouldn't have won that grand final, we all know how good Mike Lewis is anyway. But it's like pressure's off him now. It's like he can now go and play and show why he's a champion player. Like it's almost like he's having to prove himself all the time, and he don't have to. It's like he's got a title behind him. Um, he's got a treble behind him. He's in England team. He's in Dream Team. He's had a fantastic season. He got Rapuna Award. And when they were saying about him having to play the best game of his career in that grand final, he had Bevan French in his pocket. Um, People argue saying Jez Lynch should have had that match. I don't think it really mattered. They both were outstanding. But
Yeah, I mean,
for
I would have
me,
had Peter Iku myself.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, Lewis, he had the pressure on him because all eyes were on him. And like people were saying, if OKR were going to win that game, Mikey Lewis had to play great and it was outstanding.
yeah, I think all those things you've just mentioned, Jordan, is I think it's sort of testament that he's grown up a lot in the last 12 months.
Oh yeah,
Then from a boy to a man, he's now a father. He's got a new partner, so his life's probably better balanced, which gives him the platform to mature and to be. You see that on the pitch, don't you? Especially this year's, big games, so to speak. He was decent against Saints in the semi. Obviously, he held his nerve in the Challenge Cup final, kicking that goal in difficult
he's matured a lot.
circumstances.
He's matured a
Yeah,
lot.
he's massively mature. He's massively matured, and I think the people in and around the club and the playing squad and the staff and all everything contributes towards him going in that direction. So yeah, from a boy to a man, and hopefully he can carry on moving forward in the next few years.
Yeah.
Just one little touch on there as well, Cal. So with obviously you see social media, you see some fans can get carried away, they can count the chickens before they've hatched and all that. Do you think that with the way some of your fan base has been throughout the season, that you kind of had to win that grand final?
I wouldn't say they had to win it because they'd already got the double in the bag before that.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to elevate yourself to a consistent top one or two, team, that's what you had to do was get a grand
Yeah.
final in the cabinet. And I think the proof's in the pudding where they've been up there, haven't they? The last couple of seasons have had multiple semis, multiple, grand finals, couple of Challenge Cup finals along the way. Yes, they got beat by the Leopards in 23, but they've all these big game experiences now. They're used to it, whereas in a couple of seasons previous, they haven't been used to it. And I think that only stands you in good stead.
I've
Yeah.
got a
Actually, you
question for
get
you,
the
Carl.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I've got a question for you, Carl. So, OKR are the first team to win, a new team to win the Super League in 21 years, since obviously Rhinos in 2004. What do you think has been the difference with OKR that other teams have failed to win the grand final? I mean, Warrington have been there, Catalans have been there. All these teams that have been in grand final, Castleford, have all deserved to be there, especially Castleford, obviously in that 2017 season. What do you think you've done different that you've now broken the duck, sort of thing?
I think there's multiple things you could sort of give reasons to why they've done it and other teams haven't. I think they've built over the last 3 or 4 years. The coaches pretty much have no nonsense since the day walked in. There's a good environment there, professional environment there. They've got a good youth and experience mixture. They've got players who played in big games and won grand finals previously. So I don't think
Yeah,
it's one or two different things. I think it's multiple mixed together to give you that sort of hardcore group of stuff that you need to get over the line, basically.
yeah,
I think with that, and obviously if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know the club better than I do. Unlike the likes of Warrington, Castleford, and all that, and Salford as well, to be fair, and Catalan,
yeah, yeah,
you've kept your better players, and then you've
yeah,
added to that. Whereas like the likes of Castleford, that they've let the better players go, and that's where
yeah,
they've dropped off again.
yeah. No, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's probably is a good point. And again, that's testament to Neil Udgell and Paul Lakin and the people at the top, who are making that happen. Because, well, it's like in rugby league. Funds are very hard come by, aren't they? And there's a lot of teams that just sort of break even every year, and probably there's a lot of teams as well that run at a loss every year, don't they? As we all know. So for them to keep the spine together, like Gaz has just said, I think that's and then they've sort of added sprinkles of experience in terms of JWH and Mickey Mack, and then they've had a couple of young lads come through. Jez and Mikey Lewis, they've got another year under the belt, so it's all
And that's another
structure and it's
point as
all
well. The game changed when Linton come on as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
outstanding, mate. He's
I
outstanding.
thought that were fantastic strategy that from Willa Peters playing McAlorden those first 15 minutes ish, just to give Jeslin and that little bit of rest for it because obviously he knew when he come on he would play resting games. So I think it give that boost to team. I thought it was great how they did that.
They looked a lot more
Right.
comfortable with Linton on there.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
To be fair
Oh.
to what I was reading on Sunday night, credit to Mickey McAlaren because he played with a broken foot. So I'm
Yeah,
told.
did you? Yeah,
Yeah, so he was always going to start that game. Mickey Mack. It was his last game of his career. His chance to bow out in his way, same as JWH. So, but yeah, as soon as Jez come on, he sped it up and he got in and around the ruck. And as much as it, without sounding too cocky, Wigan couldn't cope with him at that point. And as soon as he got free, he freed Hickle up, and Hickle went back on the inside, and that's where one of the tries came from. The exact point she was making. So it definitely worked well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he was talking to me or Jordan.
Him, both of you.
Well, we know Carl just so
we all know Wigan are a quality outfit, and they have been for a number of years. You see some coaches in the modern game where they spit the dummy out and they don't really want to, sort of credit the other team, and they find excuses, don't they? Injuries, suspensions, yellow cards, etc. But fair play to Matty Pete and the Wigan Warriors. They came over after the trophy lift, showed respect to the Rovers players and supporters and all the members of staff, and a lot of coaches probably wouldn't have done that, especially in the modern game. So
I think the thing is though, Carl, like you can't disagree with it though. This is thing like, they're going to that game and they're like, you can't realistically expect to just win. I mean, they were probably favourites, weren't they? Because they used to grand final, etc., whatever. But like, it's almost like say when Leeds were beating Saints, and it were like I think every grand final we went into Saints grand final, I'm pretty sure we were underdog in every game, and it were like, someone beats you, and it's a new team as well. You kind of got to, and the fact that you've been top of league all season, you kind of can't spit your dummy out realistically. It's kind of gone down
as well, because Wigan pretty much handed it back to him, because Wigan the holders going to the final defender day, and it's gone, well, there you go, it's yours now, not ours.
Yeah.
I think that's a big factor in it as well.
Massively. What I would say is it went fairly close to the Rovers fans, and he give a lot of applause. And I'm not saying that's a massive thing, and but there will be clubs out there and coaches that wouldn't do that. What I'm saying is it's like he's passed the torch in the right manner.
Yeah, no,
he don't have to do that. And sometimes you see Matty Pete on TV and he's cool, calm, and collective. But I just thought it was really classy of him and the Wigan club to do what they did at the end. No, and that's what I'm trying to get out without singling people out. So yeah, I thought it was classy, and they'll definitely come again. Won't they? They don't have all the success they've had and just sort of disappear now for the next few years. We've got a good academy and all that type of stuff. So fair play to them, but it's our time now. Nobody else's. So we'll move on.
It. Fair play to you. So massive thank you to our sponsor, Acorn Joinery Leeds. And remember that the podcast is for the fans, by the fans. So on that note, we will catch you all next week.